Hello, good morning to you. It's been a while. I'm back. Thank you, Maps, for holding it down here with Benjamin. And thank you also for staying on the AM show. I'm Bernice Abubedu Lansa. It's now time to talk about the Ghana Teacher Prize. And I've got with me the winner and the first runner-up for the 2022 edition. Stella Jima Labi is a literature teacher at the Adenta Community Junior High School, and she emerged the overall Best National Teacher for 2022. And the good thing is, she's also a facilitator on Joy Learning, and she's just seated on my immediate left. And she's got her beautiful sash on, which says Ghana's Most Outstanding Teacher. And Fati is also here. Fati Isifu is an English teacher at the Bupe Girls Model School in the Central Gonja municipality of the Savannah region. She was first runner-up. Thank you, ladies, for joining me this morning. And I'm excited that, so literature and English
Yeah. English
is the same thing.
It's the same.
So the winner in the first one, I mean, I'm just wondering, I know we teach a lot of subjects in high school, but it appears that the English teachers are doing something dynamic. Tell us what you've been doing with your students at Adenta, for which reason you won this prize.
Okay, so I've been doing quite a number of things. Good morning to your audience and good morning to everybody. I've been doing quite a number of things. In the classroom, some of the basic innovations that I've been able to put together is the fact that I make the children write their own stories. So based on what you've read, now let's practicalize it. So beyond rhetorics, beyond what I've seen and I'm reading, what can I also put out there? So I make them write their own stories. Now, together with the learners, we are able to come up with teaching aids. And so it's not a one-way affair where the teacher always comes up with, let's do this and that's all. What are some of the things that we can do so that when I teach the lesson, it becomes more interactive, more understanding? So I come up with a lot of different teaching materials together with the learners. I also teach them extra.
Okay.
So when school closes at 2:30, while everybody's in hurry to go home, I have chosen to stay in school and teach those who have challenges.
Wow.
For free.
Wow, that's nice. That's laudable.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is not, I'm not patronizing you or anything,
Yeah.
but this is really encouraging. And we find that a lot. A lot of passionate teachers in Ghana are getting innovative by the day. Of course, we know what the challenges are. We can't pretend. Lack of infrastructure, lack of logistics, textbooks. I mean, that's a big issue. So if you have a teacher sacrificing her time, saying, I'm going to teach students for free, that is laudable. Let me come to you, Fati. You are in Bupe. Oh, that's quite a journey from here, isn't it? How many hours?
It's about 12 hours.
Whoa. And you do that in one day?
Yeah,
or
in
you
one
take
day.
A break and rest?
No.
Oh, wow.
I usually pick that STC or VIP in one day, and I'm here.
Tell us what you've been doing at Bupe SHS.
Okay, so at Bupe Girls Model School, it's also a junior high school. We do a lot. We have what we call a child parliament. When I went there, I realized the children were not bold enough. They were not outspoken. And also they had challenges with the spoken language. That's the English language. So I instituted what we call the child parliament, which is mostly found in the South over here, where they come up with their own topics. And then I group them into two, the minority and then the majority. So they go and write their own points on the causes, effect, and the solutions of the topic that they have chosen or they have selected. Then we have rehearsals. We meet once every 2 weeks. And then each panel, they bring their own issues on board. And then after that, we just disperse. Then at the end of the term, we come together. We invite some people from the town and other schools. And then we enact exactly what we have been rehearsing to the whole community. And it has really helped over the years to help them to be bold, to speak up as women over there. It has really helped. a lot. Aside from that, we also have what we call reading clinic. I also realized that most of them were having challenges with reading. So I instituted an early morning reading clinic for them. So every day I have a 1 hour reading between the hours of 6 a.m. and then 7 a.m. before assembly and then normal, usual distant classes start. So these are some of the things I've been doing there over the years, and it is really paying off for the learners over there.
Let me just say, so you're seeing photos of the reading clinic for the students at the Bupe Girls Model School.
Yes.
And
so this is the Child Parliament, yes,
yeah.
that we had last year. This is just last year.
Okay.
That we enacted it for the community. And over there, it's poetry recital class. Okay. Usually they write their own poems.
Okay.
And then we group them and we have competitions in the classroom.
And I saw something.
Then this is a peer teaching class. Usually some of our grammar lessons, that's what we do. I give the topic to them, they go and research on it, and then they come and teach in the class. And after that, I also add a little that I have. So these are some of the pictures that you see on the screen.
And you teach at public institutions, right? These
yes,
are all
please. Yeah, it's a government. Yes, it's a government. Yes, please.
Great work you're doing over there. We'll get into the challenges shortly, but I just want to say that one thing I realized when you mentioned that when you met the girls, they were quite timid, and you wanted them to be outspoken and speak proper language. Reminds me of my high school English teachers. And let me just say that English was my favorite subject in high school. Good. And even though I did visual arts, yes, I did visual arts, my school offered me the opportunity to do an elective in literature and English. And Miss Babo, too, was my teacher. Very wonderful woman. And my English teacher was Mrs. Obing. That woman would insist that you say go and not go.
Go. That's true.
So, I mean, I'm just excited that you are teaching the girls to speak properly. Yeah. I know there's a whole debate about not wanting to sound foreign, but I tell people that if somebody said bra instead of bra, as an Akan speaker, you would tell the person it's bra. Because enunciation is important. Yeah. So, exactly. I mean, if you want to speak English, it's always good if you can speak it close as you can to the native speakers. But I mean, that's just by the way. I was just throwing in that bit on enunciation and getting the girls to speak clearly. So, you tell me, we are not ignorant of the challenges teachers face. There have been several calls by unions, which I believe you're members of, right? Okay. For certain logistics, certain materials to be provided to make it better. You're doing great.
Thank you.
Two of you are doing great from the stories that we've heard. But let me start with you, Stella. What difference would it make for you if you had some of these basic things that you were requested?
Okay. So one of the things that we are taught as teachers is the ability to be innovative. And so for me, I believe that with or without the teaching materials, as a teacher, you have to be innovative enough to put some things together. Because we are always waiting for the things to come. But as you wait for the things to come, what do you do in the waiting period? Okay. One of the major challenges that we have is with infrastructure. Talk of desk. The desks are not enough. So you can enter a class and you're seeing 3 students sitting on a desk. For that, what can you do about it? Unless you decide to provide furniture for them. But while there are no furniture, what do? It also comes in. So there is furniture challenge. Textbooks are not there, but in the absence of the textbooks, as a teacher, for me, if we are going to have a review of a comprehension text, and there are no textbooks, and this is what I want to do, I run photocopies. Not that I've got a lot of money, but I believe that as you do that, the interesting part is that as you've used that in this time, you can use it again and again and again in another class. And so I've been photocopying If I want to treat a test and it's not there, I photocopy the text and then I give it to the learners to read. We answer. When we finish, I take back my papers. And so in the absence of textbooks, there are other strategies that can be adopted. For comprehension, you can't write on the board. It's not logical.
That's too much.
That's too much. And so I get the text printed for them. So infrastructure, textbooks, teaching, innovating of teaching learning materials and other things. So some of the other materials are also not there in most schools and in my school. But all I keep saying is if they are not there, I chose to provide to make my learners better.
Right. Betty, what about you? What's your story like?
Okay, it's similar, quite similar to what she said, because I remember when I was once posted to New Ningo DA Basic School, for instance, there were no textbooks.
Yeah.
So initially, I had to go around school by school to at least get a single textbook per school. So I went to about 5 or 7 schools, and then some of them gave me 2, some gave me 3. So those were the books that I was using. And because they were not enough, I was doing photocopies. And that pushed me into writing short stories.
Okay.
So that's the creativity or the innovative, this thing that she's talking about. So I had to now come up with my own short stories for us to use as comprehension.
Okay.
But when I moved over to Bupe, they had Cockerel books. The government
these are your
supplied them.
books?
Yeah, these are some of my storybooks that I wrote for my
I love
children.
the illustration.
Yes, by Vessel Publishers in Ashama. So what happened was that when I moved to Bupe, fortunately the government supplied them with Cockerel books.
Okay.
So those are the ones that we currently use for our comprehension. And aside from that, I believe that if we have these materials, it will go a long way to help us, because there are some lessons that I use projectors to do, and because we don't have them currently in my school, the parents have even agreed to purchase one for the school, so they are contributing for it so that we can purchase it. Basically because I'm with an association, International English Language Association, and I'm the current president of the affiliate in Ghana here. And we do what we call student exchange, whereby we have international communities. As the last one we did was with Mauritius. So what we do is that we have our students in Ghana and then students in Mauritius. We give them a topic, and then we come together on Zoom and we discuss, the learners will discuss these topics among themselves. What happens is that it helps them to collaborate and then have friends online. Yeah, they become global citizens. Yes, this is one of them that we had, yes, with the international students in other countries.
Okay. And the power of technology as well.
Yes, so if we have a projector in my school, because this one, most often I have to take them to the community ICT center and I have to pay. I pay for the use of the facility and data.
Your
and
personal cash.
Yes, my personal cash. Whenever I take my children there, I have to pay for it. The last time I paid, I think about 80 cedis or so.
You must be really passionate to be a teacher in Ghana. Let me just ask, have you always wanted, did you want to be a teacher when you were growing up?
I did.
You did?
Yes.
Are you serious? You're being honest.
Yes.
Teacher by choice.
Okay.
Now, if you go to Facebook, I have a post that something I've been writing, Tales of the 1988 Teacher. When I was a little girl, my father was a teacher. In fact, he retired a teacher. And I used to admire his passion for the job. He would wake up so early, go to work, and people were always complaining about teaching, the salary was not enough. But never did I see that he's sad. Never did I see him complain. He thought throughout. He didn't do any other job. And he retired a teacher, and he was able to put up his homes. And so I said, okay, if Daddy finds himself here and he's happy, I would also want to. Then there was another instance where I saw young people. So these young people, I used to sell with my mother at Achimota for a period. And after selling, I'll go to school, but I see they didn't go. They'll just be around the area. So I said, okay, what can I directly do to get these young ones in school? And the best possible option is to become a teacher, to inspire them greatly. And so Daddy was one. My desire to see young people in school was two. And then my literature and English teacher, Awodede, they inspired me along the way to pursue the agenda. So in secondary school, when everybody was thinking about what they would be when they grow up, I would say I want to be a teacher.
How did your friends react?
They always like, oh, but you speak so well. You can, in fact, so I said, okay, I'm going to be a teacher. Then I'll be, exactly. Then I'll be a lawyer.
Okay.
So I have.
Well, they're all expressive professions.
Exactly.
So it makes sense.
So I said I was going to be all that. And then I realized that my first love kept calling. Because in the absence of my literature and English teacher, I would go and teach literature.
Okay.
Yes, I started teaching literature in secondary school.
Wow. Then you started early.
Yes, I fell in love. I fell in love with the subject, and all I wanted to do was to teach. And so when I completed SS, and then I bought the forms. I bought 2 forms. I bought University of Ghana, and then my father said, "At Training College." And then I added, okay, Daddy says so. Now I knew I wanted to teach, but I didn't know the level I wanted to teach. And so when the admissions came, so here we are debunking that session that only those who don't pass go to training colleges.
Okay.
It's a lie. So,
That's true.
yeah, so I gained admission to go to Legon and then the training college. And Daddy said, okay, at the time, you know, the grown-ups, they'll say, okay, you go there. Because when you finish, there is job readily available for you, even though that's what you want to do. Because the university you finish and you have to log on ligi before they place you. And so I agreed.
So you went to the teacher training college,
Exactly.
even though you had admission to the University of
Yes.
Ghana.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my father, the admission letter, he said on the day of the awards, he said,
So your dad is alive. He must be very proud.
of course, Mr. President Fulavi.
He was there live.
Yeah, my
He was
superhero. He was
Yes,
there. He was
there.
there. He said when I told him I had been shortlisted, he picked the admission letter. He's still keeping it in his wardrobe.
How long ago? Wait. Take it slowly. Take it slowly. Allow us to digest what
Digest.
you're giving us.
Yes.
So how long ago was this?
That was 2007.
When you had the admission?
Yes.
Your dad has been keeping the letter
Exactly.
till date.
Till date.
So tell us what he did with it.
So he said he picked it, looked at it, and smiled. Because at the end of the day, I got a chance to go back to Legon as I wanted
Okay.
to pursue a master's in the teaching of English,
Okay. So you're a master's holder.
an MPhil holder.
So you needed to add that because you know you understand
important.
MPhil is like
Because master is
important.
master of arts, but I'm a master of philosophy.
So you're not an MA, you're an MPhil.
No, I'm MPhil.
Okay.
Don't worry about that, Fatih, we'll fix it. So here you are, a teacher by choice. I like that. I like the use of that because, you know, there's the notion that many people enter the teaching profession as a last resort.
Yeah. There are
We've heard
some-
Stella's story.
Yeah.
Fatih, what's yours? Are you also a teacher by choice?
Yes, I'm a teacher by choice.
Tell us your story.
Yeah, I went to teacher training college. That's Commander, teacher training college, and then
No,
I started
before
teaching.
then, I mean, where did all this passion for teaching come from?
Yeah.
Okay, like hers, I also started teaching when I was very young. I was teaching my little siblings in the house and in the community. So that's how my father realized that I was good. I could teach.
The father.
So when I completed, senior high, he says, "Oh, the training college is the best place for you because of what you've been doing around here." So I agreed, and then I went, and I came out. I started teaching, and along the line, I got interested in marketing.
Okay.
So I decided to read marketing at Valley University,
Okay.
and I finished. And I was doing my national service with Commercial Bank. I did my national service Commercial Bank in Konongo. So they told me they could retain me if I wanted to. I said, no, I want to go back to teaching. So they were very shocked.
The money was good, wasn't it? The prospects were good.
It was good. Because all my colleagues, I think about 3 of them that we finished that particular year, they are all bank managers now.
So you would have been
So,
a bank manager by now.
by now,
But
but-
you may have been frustrated.
Yes, I wouldn't have been happy at all. I wouldn't have been happy or satisfied. No, I loved teaching. So that's why I came back. I came back to the classroom. That's 2012. And then I continued my teaching till date. And I love it. I love it because...
Of all the subjects you could have taught, why English?
In fact, I've taught a lot of subjects from RME to ICT. I've taught mathematics. I've taught science. Almost all of them.
Okay. Okay.
But I always love English because I've come to realize that most learners have challenges with the language. And until the learner is able to pick the English language, it basically affects all other subjects. Because if he cannot read and write, there is no way the child can calculate mathematics or can do anything related to science.
Yeah.
That is the point. So that's why I love English language. And I see it in my learners where basically almost the school that I've taught in across the nation, the 4 regions that I've worked in, I realize that wherever I'm posted to, the learners that come to junior high 1, out of 40 or out of 50, only about 10 of them can read and write. So all the time, I have to do the same thing, go back to the basics, teach phonics before we can even go into the curriculum.
And the
content
phonics is
itself.
the A, B, K.
Exactly.
Right.
So you come to junior high 1 and then you meet
You're
me
now learning
teaching, yes,
A,
every
B, K,
morning.
in junior
Exactly,
high school.
in junior high school. And that's why I love
It's
English.
JoyNews.
That's why I love English.
Because I see the toddlers saying it all the time, A for apple, and it's surprising that in junior high school somebody is now learning that.
Yes.
Why English for you, Stella?
Okay, so
Was your dad an English teacher?
no, he was a science teacher.
Okay.
I remember in training college, I wanted to continue with the literature, and we were only 3. Myself, Angie, and then Ijnaba. Now, the literature teacher said she wouldn't teach if we were only 3. So we had to go rally and get people on board. So we were able to win 2 more souls. So Major, we became 5, and then Major decided to teach us. I had so much love for the subject because I feel that you need to know the structure of the language before you can use it. And then, as Fatih said, the English language replicates in all the others because you need the English in order to express yourself in the RME. You need the English to express yourself in the social studies. You need the English to express yourself in pre-technical skills, in all the other subjects, apart from French and Ghanaian language.
Okay.
So I said, okay, this is what, because I love reading and writing as well. So I chose to do that. I also have some books to my credit.
Okay.
Books that I give out for free.
Okay. To help children.
To help them.
Yeah, to understand. Okay.
Yes.
So let's just get a bit controversial since we're talking about
Not
English.
politics.
Controversial.
When you mentioned Ghanaian, not Fatih is running away from politics. But when you mentioned Ghanaian language,
Yeah.
so there's the assertion that teaching children in their mother tongue is always the best. And people have cited examples of how it's done in other countries where English is taught, though, but it's not the language that is used as the general mood for teaching and learning.
Okay.
There are those who are for and against the motion, let me put it that way.
Okay.
I don't know where you stand in all of this. As English teachers, what would you say? Should we begin to look at teaching children? And what do you think will be the pros and cons if we make such a decision? Let me start with you, Fatih.
Well, for one, it's good, especially at the basic level, that is from KG,
Yeah. Up to class 3.
basic 1, basic 2, it's okay around that time because they are very new to even the environment of teaching and learning. So when you start from their language, their mother tongue, it gives them a little bit comfort. It warms them up into the teaching and the learning environment that they have been brought into. Mm-hmm. So it's good at that level, but from basic 3, basic 4 upwards is very detrimental. It's going to really affect them because at the end of the day, when they get to junior high, that's where the problem comes in. And that's how most of us, for instance, the two of us sitting here, we are telling you that learners come to junior high 1 and then they can't read and they can't write.
How about continuing the mother tongue till
It's going to worsen the case. Not at all.
Is it a thing of you looking at how they will interact with the rest of the world? Or is it a case of they not understanding the subjects properly?
No, it has to do, okay, there are two things. It has to do psychologically, let's go that way, because the maturation of the brain has a timing, and that particular timing is when they are very young. Okay. And during that time, they pick language very easily. So if you delay and the maturation of the brain ends, and the child is now going to start learning the English language, it becomes very difficult for the child to pick it quickly. That's why as adults, when we were young, we could pick a lot of languages. For instance, I've been in Bupe for, I think, 3 or 4 years now. I'm still finding it difficult picking the Gunja language. I could understand 1 or 2 of them, but it's difficult speaking it. Even in Pram where I live, I've been there for close to 12, 13 years now. I'm still not speaking the Dangme, but I can understand it anyway. Yes, so it has to do with the maturation of the brain.
Doesn't this then suggest that you say that at that level, basic 3 moving on to 4, the brains are developing in such a way that it's difficult to pick up language now. So is that not what we're doing to our Ghanaian language then? Because you find then that Ghanaian language is introduced at basic 4. Okay. In the school that I went to, junior high school, from basic to junior high, I think we started Ghanaian language in basic 4 or 5. I can't remember exactly. But
you went to a Bafo school,
But you speak the Ghanaian language at home.
What school did you attend?
I was international.
So
exactly.
No, but I mean, so you're saying that the picture is different in other schools where they already know the local language, so it's best to start teaching them English from the scratch.
That's fine. It's a little bit okay. It helps the learner, because you are coming from a home where you speak your local language. Okay. So when you come and they are blending the local language with the English language, it helps them to. So
I get what you're saying. So the dynamics are different.
Different
in this country. We don't seem to have a general standard.
Yes. There is in the government schools.
Okay.
In the government schools.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So the usage of the Ghanaian language, a lot of studies have been conducted. And in the studies, Prof. Ejekum, University of Ghana, he taught me second language acquisition. And in there, you realize that, as Fatih said earlier, the child's orientation, interaction in the house, helps with the relation with the other language. And so if the child knows now that, the local language of this, let's say cup, and then the child gets to a level where you're teaching the child how to speak the English or in any other language, any other second language, then you introduce it. The child is able to bring a relation, because the sounds in the local language, some of them can be found in the English language and in the other language. You take Spanish for an example, and some of the sounds in Spanish are in the English language. Okay, and so once the child knows the native sounds, the child can relate it to the second language that the learner. I've been cautioned to use learner. That the learner is being introduced to. And so the curriculum, our standard in Ghana says that we should use the local language from class 1, as Fatih said, up to 3, the lower class.
Okay.
However, that is not the case in most schools. Now, what
why is it not the case? What's the challenge?
Exactly. So what some researchers are saying is that you go to Gonja, and that you would have to teach the child the Gonja language as the basic language, the first language. Okay. You go to Central Region, and you are teaching the child the Fanti. You go to the Ewe land, and you are teaching the child Ewe. In Ewe. However, when they all come together, there seems to be a little disorientation. Okay. And so people are propagating that if we are learning a Ghanaian language.
It has to be a standardized
Exactly.
one, which is problematic. Don't let no, you don't want to do that this morning.
Yeah.
So basically what we are saying, and even in Accra, so if you come into a cosmopolitan area like Accra, you may find in a basic school a class where you have Evers, Gans, Fantis, Gonjas, Dangmes. So how does a teacher even teach? But even if she has to teach in Gonja, she will struggle.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the problem, because in other countries you have one dominant local language, and I think it's easier.
Yeah,
okay, this settles the controversy.
Thank you. Thank you.
For those
No
who
more controversies.
no more controversies. Okay, but tell us what your aspirations are. What do you look forward to? You've gotten Ghana's most outstanding teacher. I'm not going to guess your age, but you look young.
Thank you.
And I'm sure there's a lot of years ahead of you. What are you looking forward to?
Okay. So the number one that I'll always repeat is to be the first doctor in a basic school. Teaching in a basic school. Because I've
You want to acquire a PhD?
Yes.
In English language and
Yes.
still teach in a basic school?
The foundation is so critical that
Exactly.
I get some of my professors and doctors complain that, hey, the way the students write, it's as if they didn't even go to preschool or the junior high school. Now, I want to be around a table where I can influence decision, help put out strategies that can help to make the basic education better. So my number one aspiration is to be that mirror at that basic school that will champion change around the table. And I'm sure that, you know, in arts we say touch one, touch all. So if you're able to touch one,
You touch
you
everyone.
touch everybody.
That's true.
Okay.
People will not acquire the degree and then run away. Hey, me, I've got an option. I have to go to the university. I have to go to... What about those down there?
Yeah.
What change are you putting in place?
But you've actually drawn my mind to something.
Yeah.
We seem to keep the best at the matured level.
You see,
That's the mistake.
so they should pay me well.
That's what is worrying me.
They should pay me
Because
well.
you see,
Exactly.
talking about
Yeah.
your professor saying, I had the opportunity to serve as a teaching assistant when I finished my degree at the Ghana Institute of Journalism, and I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I mean, and this is not to demean any of my colleagues. Like you're saying,
That's it.
that is when I realized that the foundation is very important.
Yeah.
I went to a government high school in Fantaman Girls, but by the time I had gotten there, I had received great experience at the foundation level. It was very easy for me to sail through.
Yeah.
My professor at the time, no, he's not a professor, my lecturer at the time, Dr. Tayman, when I picked the paper and I read through the first, he's fancy, he said, "Why shock you, man?" And I said, "Yes," and he was like, "Yeah, that's what you people write for us." And it's sad because this is the Institute of Journalism, but it paints a picture of what's happening across the board.
And I can say to the glory of the God that for every learner that has passed through my hands over these years, you can't fail. You can't go
You
back
are
to
giving
right.
me Mrs. Obing vibes. You're taking me to a point in my high school where I don't like it. Mrs. Obing, Mrs. Obing.
Of course.
was
What?
That's true.
That's Mr. Gaffrey.
Why are English teachers wicked? English and French.
No, not wicked. Disciplined. No.
Wicked.
No, saying that wicked for discipline. We are disciplined. Yes. We always want to be a little strict because it comes with the terrain, the kind of language, this thing that we teach. So when we apply a bit more strictness, it makes our learners very focused. Yes,
And
so
English
that's
is
one.
technical.
Very
That's
technical.
something that a lot of
very
people don't
technical.
realize.
So that's why we are sometimes a little bit strict, and people think we are wicked, but not wicked per se. You know.
Mrs. Obing will fling my book like that. Dennis, what is this? And she just throws the book away. And that's because she says, so she used to do, I don't know what the term for it is, but she used to assess us according to our capacities.
So that is one tool
Exactly.
I use in the class, the individuality of each.
So someone can get an 8 over 10 and she will applaud the person, but if I get an 8 over 10, she's upset.
No.
Myself and
That's not good enough.
Anyway,
It's
I'm going back to my it's getting exciting for me. But Fatih,
Before you come to Fatih, now the learners we have now, they don't like reading. And I think it's with most of us. And so what I do to get them to read is that I give them reading assignments.
Yeah.
You're not just going to read. When you read, you set your questions.
Rewrite the story.
okay.
You set your own questions. So out of what you read, set questions out of it. It is out of those questions that I put together and I give it to them to answer.
Okay.
And as Fatih is saying, they rewrite the passage.
Yeah. Sometimes you make them even change the passage into a drama.
The wedding.
The story, turn it into a drama.
Wow. Fatih, tell us about your aspiration. She says she wants to be the first doctor teaching at the basic level. I don't know what your dreams
And
are.
be the champion. Around the
For me, first of all, I want to see more and more of my learners become doctors, become teachers, because the reason why I'm still teaching is because of them. I have a lot of them that I met who were doing virtually, in fact, far below even average. They were into, some of them couldn't read. I sent some pictures. There was a particular guy who is now a sound engineer. He's also a musician, a music producer, with his own studios. This guy couldn't read and write. And I met him in junior high 3. In junior high 3, you can imagine, just some few months to write BEC. So I just targeted his interest. I got to know that he was very good in music. He liked writing songs. So I spoke to him. I told him I'll help him to write his songs. So that got him interested in school again. He was an orphan anyway. So I started going for rehearsals with him. He got 2 other friends who were also interested in music.
You went for rehearsals with him?
Yes.
Went that far?
Yes, I started even teaching him how to sing.
Language?
All because of English language.
Oh, goodness.
Teaching him how to sing, came up with some songs. I spoke with a owner, that is Miss Zilke. She is the founder of the Kinder Paradise in Prom. It's a private institution. So she paid for the studios for us. We went to the studio, did the recording, everything. I took the music to Unique FM around that time, Obunu FM. They played it on air for the guy. They even played it in Lufthansa Air.
I'm having goose pimples.
For the boy. Today he's a renowned musician, Kingsley.
Okay.
Meanwhile, he couldn't read and write around that time. So that's one of my aspirations. I want to see every single learner of mine to become a teacher, a doctor. I have most of them in abroad anyway, who are now engineers and they're working outside. I have some of them who are in final year school, UST, UCC, and they're all doing very well. When I met them, they couldn't read and write. That's what I want to see. And then also, now I'm into training.
Okay.
With IELTA, that's International English Language Teachers Association. So we do more of online webinars and then on-site webinars. So what I have or what I've been able to do over the years, I'm trying to take it down to the English language teachers. Currently, we have over 500 members, full-time members, who are on board with us, and we are almost every month we are giving them online webinars, skills that can help them, because that's what I've realized that most teachers are lacking. If they could have the skill, the basic skills to help them to teach the content, to go down very well with our learners. And so that is what I am seeking to do now. Yeah.
What can I say? It's been an exciting time
Thank you.
with all of you. And thank you so much for what you do. That story about the sound engineer, I think is the icing on the cake. And I mean, I don't want to say too much. I'll just let our audience, soak up the story. But if you're watching, you want to say something?
Yes. One of the major things that gives me joy is the fact that you step out and you see the young ones excelling.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a mother of doctors.
Yes.
I'm a mother of lawyers. I can confidently say that my learners are becoming lawyers and doctors because they're in the law school, they're in the medical school. I have some of them who have completed engineering. Some of them I got people to sponsor their school. Some of them who have ventured into apprenticeship. Ones I identify in the class that this is your area. I get to your parents. I go down to their homes to speak to them. See, help the child in this regard. And to the glory of God, for me, he's the one I'll give glory to because they listen. And all those who have listened today, the kids, the young ones, the learners, are getting their place and their seat around the table. Also, this project, Joy, you have to come on board. The RAW Global Initiative. So read and write. So RAW, R, read, the A and the W is right. RAW Global Initiative, where we go down to the communities. During the lockdown, for instance, some of the learners didn't have access to technology. So I had to bring back my old students. I brought them together, and then we went to champion that cause to teach and help them read. And so for teachers out there, there are a lot we can do to help the young ones. We shouldn't, I'm not a politician yet. We shouldn't always say that we are waiting for the government. We are all part of the government because the government has got a role to play. Parents have got a role to play. Teachers have got their role to play, as well as all others involved. And so if collectively we are able to put the little that we have together, then the dream Ghanaian child will be seen.
We'll see it again.
And that is Ghana's most outstanding teacher.
Thank you.
Conversation for us. Stella Jima Labi is the best national teacher for 2022. Yeah. She teaches literature at the Adenta Community School. We also had Fatih, who is with the Bupe Girls Model School in the Savannah region, and they've been doing a tremendous work in their various institutions. Thank you, ladies, for coming, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
I pray that your aspirations come true, and even more for you. And definitely we'll have this conversation.
We need more sponsorship.
Maybe I should visit your school.
Please do.
We will be so glad. My girls will be waiting for you on that. So look through the camera and tell them.
I haven't been to Bupe before. Maybe this should be on
the Savannah region. Yes, we'll be looking forward.
I've been to the it was the Upper West at the time and the Upper East. They were not split, but I've been to the Upper West, Upper East, North thing. But I think I should go to Bupe.
I'll join you on that ride.
We should
bring her along, please.
All right, and this morning, this has been our conversation about teaching, the experience. But clearly, all you can see is that these are women who are passionate about what they do. And I want to believe that there are actors and players within the political space who have seen the sacrifices the teachers are making, the passion, the dedication that they put into their work. And so you know that they also deserve a pat on the back. We'll be back with more here on the AM show. Do stay.